Well, hi, this is Pastor David Armstrong-Reiner of Epiphany Lutheran Church, and we want to continue our conversation today on race and justice. And so Pastor Nyahali and Pastor Juan and I are being joined by our sons today. So we will get a brief introduction of our children. I'm going to let mine do his introduction of himself. So Sam, you have to say your name, how old you are, and where are you at in school or not school, because you're in school, but Dowd is not. But go for it.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Sam. I'm 18, and I'm a senior in high school. So, yeah. Anything else you want me to add?
That's all.
All right.
Okay.
Should I go?
Go for it.
Hey guys, my name is Dowda. I am 22 years old. I attended Georgia State University to major in biology. Figured out that's not what I was really passionate about. And now I'm following my dreams in the creative.
Okay, great.
I'm Kiwan. I'm 18 years old, and I'm a graduating senior this year, and I plan on going down to Georgia Southern in the upcoming fall.
Great.
One less off the feed.
That's it. And if any of you know with Pastor Juan has 7 kids. So anytime he can get one out of the house, he's doing really good. And Dowda, Kiwan, and Sam, I'm really glad you're here today, because one of the things that we got started on this conversation on race and justice, it just became apparent that we really wanted to have the opinion of our sons involved with this. So we just got a couple of questions. Just this conversation is just meant to get out there for people to listen to. So here's my first question for the sons here. Has one of your parents, either your mother or father, ever had the talk with you? Okay? And when I say the talk, you have to define what the talk is. Okay? We'll let the short answer go first. Sam, has your father or mother ever had the talk with you?
Yeah, multiple times.
What does that talk mean?
I don't feel comfortable.
See? Good. This was good, because he thinks the talk is about something else. He thinks the talk's about sex. And I bet Dowda and Kiwan, you know that I'm not talking about that, right? Okay. All right. Kiwan, I'll let you go next.
Yeah, I've had to talk with my parents before. You know, there's been times where they would call me up to the room and show me a video, you know, of what's going on in the world. And they would basically say, yeah, this isn't right, but you can't afford to put yourself in a position for that to happen to you. You know, one thing my dad says is, don't fight. Don't have us fight when you're not here. You want us to fight with you still here. So whatever the policeman is saying, you just gotta comply with that, so you can at least keep breathing for the next day, or for however long. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, 100%. I've had the talk with both of my parents. My mom, a more consistent reminder than my dad is. I think my dad has more of anxiety having the conversation, and it brings him a lot of discomfort. Whereas I think my mom is more so paranoid about me being out and the possibility of getting pulled over and further crime being committed from there. I remember the talk with my dad was when I came home and I had a hoodie on because it was winter and it's cold. And he told me to take the hoodie off because I would be at risk of being killed or accused of committing a crime. So yeah, I've had to talk a lot, and I really can't imagine what life would be like without having the talk. And I think that in itself is a privilege, to not have to have that discussion with your parents, or not have to sit down and they talk about it thousands of times, hundreds of times. about that conversation. I can't imagine what life would be like without that talk.
I've muted myself here. So Dowda, when you say about the privilege of having had to talk, can you tell me what do you mean by that?
I think that it's a conversation that not too many kids my age or kids growing up have to have with their parents that are not Black, because they're probably at a lesser threat than we are. I mean, people do say things like, oh, white people get killed by the police just as much as Black kids do, but we're getting killed at the same rate. And the Black population is 13% in America. If we were the majority, you know, of the population just as much as the white population, we would be getting killed at a faster rate. So that is why it is a necessity in the Black homes to have these conversations. And it's a privilege to not have that conversation because you don't have to be in fear of your life being at threat or in danger by someone who is supposed to be here to protect us, which is the policeman.
I misunderstood you, Dowda. So thanks. I misunderstood what you said originally in terms of privilege. So in other words, it's a privilege that Sam has not had to have the talk.
Yes.
I'm assuming, and Kiwan, would this be the same for you, that your dad has had that talk with you? You haven't had just that talk one time, right?
Yeah.
Full time.
Yes. I've had it plenty of time.
Yeah. And Sam, have I ever had that talk with you?
No.
No. I was going to say, I mean, you know, I loved it because I set him up and I thought he would know what I was talking about. And he thought I was talking about sex. So, because sex always embarrasses him. So this is even better. So the other question, and I'm not even going to ask Sam this question. Okay. So Dowda and Kiwan, I want to ask you this question: is especially with you being young men, have you all had an experience of being treated differently because you were Black? And can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah.
Go for it, Dowda.
Okay. Yeah, it happens a lot. Primarily when I'm in environments with people who are not of color, a lot more. I notice it walking down the street, and I notice a white woman cross the street because she feels like I'm a threat, or clutching her purse closer to her body. She's assuming that I'm probably trying to steal from her. Exiting the elevator when I'm walking in. I'm not a harmful person. If anybody knows me, I literally would not kill a fly. So it's kind of like to be perceived as like, I don't know, some type of beast or monster in this world is really kind of, it does something to you. It dehumanizes you. It makes you feel less than, and you kind of have to overcompensate who you are and do things a little bit. You have to say that you're, let them know that you're use certain vocabulary just to show them that you're intelligent, or demonstrate when you're in a room with white people, just so they don't think that you know, loudly and well, you know, and using big words and compromising who I am all the time, just so that, you know, they know that I'm not a threat. But yeah, there's basically every day. I mean, there's not really, I'm Black every day, so can't really, I guess I'm always, you know, aware of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Juan, what about yourself?
I've personally never had any real experiences with being treated different because I've never really been put in an environment where I'm not, you know, where I'm different. You know, I go to a predominantly Black school, and I'm never really in an environment where I'm like one of the only Black people there. So no, I've never had any experiences like that.
Okay. Okay.
And you know, can I just throw something in real quick?
Sure.
It is the difficult part is that we feel like we are prejudged simply because of the complexion of our skin. And you know, it's almost like we have to prove that we're not a threat instead of being automatically, assume that we're not a threat. And if the only reason why we have to prove that we're not a threat is because we're Black, then that is what we are saying is the problem. I've had situations in my life where, as an Uber driver, people would get in, I've had white, Black, all kind of people get in my car. And, I've had white women would get in my car, and you could tell when they first get in that they are, real cautious. But as we're driving and we're talking and the conversation, by the time they get out the car, some of them are like, man, is there any way I can order you to come back to pick me up? Because they realize over time, okay, no, I don't no longer just see a Black man. I now actually see a man. I'm sorry, y'all, I'm getting Texas. I actually see a man who is a very nice man. And so that is the frustration that we have to deal with. We have to, every time, every second, every moment, we have to almost prove that we're not trying to steal, kill, rob, and destroy. And that gets frustrating.
Dowda, that's a little bit about what you were saying too.
Yeah, definitely. And to piggyback off what they were saying, I also, in my earlier childhood, I didn't really experience any type of like racial experiences either, because I grew up in a predominantly Black area. My parents are African. My doctor was Black. My barber was Black. My soccer team was predominantly Black. My coaches were Black. So I didn't really experience that until I got into the outside world and started realizing, like, oh wow, like being Black is, I guess, being different or being a threat. So it was really, yeah. I to piggyback off of what he said, it is sad that we have to compromise who we are.
You can't just be who you are.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. You got any questions, Sam? Or anything?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I just want to make sure that you're included in on this conversation.
It's fine.
You're not just here for the comic relief. So, well, I'm just, what I think I want to do is I want to be able to close this off just by saying I'm reminded, and then Pastor Nahali or Pastor Juan or Kiwan or Dowda or Sam, you can add on this. There's a book that's coming out that's called See No Stranger. And what I hear a little bit, especially Dowda and Pastor Juan, what I hear you all saying is if we could get to the point where we can just be, right? We can just be. But you all are in an environment where you can't just be. You have to show, you have to, that you give them a chance to get to know you. But the first impression is, better hold back. And all because of your skin color. So, but.
Yeah, and it's we, to hear my son say he's never experienced that, and I, Dowda kind of agreed with that. I'm glad to hear that, but I know that it's coming. You know what I'm saying? And so the best thing I can do now is, as a father, is just to prepare him for what is coming. Because when you first experience it, it's like, wait a minute, what is going on? What did I do? And initially we what we do is we start kind of examining ourselves. And like, okay, did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? And then from there, that's when anger kicks in. And it's like, okay, I didn't do nothing wrong. Why am I being treated this way? And then over time, you start saying, okay, nothing's changing. And so you have to learn how to just live in that life. Preferably, we won't have to do this, but this is the life that we're living in. What's going on right now is not going to end racism. It's not. Right. What's going on right now is going to limit the freedom to be or express racism. That's what's going on right now. You're not going to be able to just, no one's going to be able to just kill somebody and get away with it. Those are the things that's changing now, but we're not going to change the intent and the heart of people. That's not going to change because of laws. And so we have to understand, be who you are. And this is what I want my son to know. Be who you are. Don't fabricate who you are. Be a man of integrity, because if you're a man of integrity, they're gonna respond to that integrity, and that right there will make people respect you. But if you walk around trying to demand it by operating in an area that is not who you are, then you're going to get a fabricated relationship with somebody, and you don't want that. So it is.
I'm wondering, Kiwan, as I hear you talk and Dowda as you talk, do you think it's a generational difference? I mean, you experience in school that you haven't experienced. Again, you're primarily an African-American environment anyway. And maybe this question goes to Sam a little bit as well. Do you think it's better with people your age in terms of being able to not have those differences? That it's just when you get us older folk involved, for lack of a better, maybe not. I don't know. I
don't know if I'm understanding the question.
I think he's trying to say the racism that you experience. Is it better within your peers? Is it within your peers, or is it when you face older people, like if you go to a job situation or you're in an environment with older people? Or do you experience it with your age groups, your peers?
That's a good question. I mean, I feel like it's not really that big of a difference. I mean, I've had people my age tell me to go back to Africa.
Wow.
I was on the soccer field, and my friend, who actually, he's a black kid, and he goes to Princeton right now, and he speaks German, French, Spanish, and English. And he was speaking German. I don't know if that's the appropriate name for the language, but he was speaking German to the referee because he noticed that the referee was German. And then he told him that he was speaking in African tongues and he needs to take that somewhere else. So, I mean, I've experienced racism from both, like, people and younger people. I don't think it's really a difference. And also, like, racism is taught,
Mm-hmm.
They're not necessarily saying, hey, go be racist, but it's the way that they see their mom or their dad treat a black person. It's taught.
I know at my school, we have a couple, we have a few white people at a school, but I don't really, I don't really interact with them like that. It's not really nothing I got against them. It's just we don't really cross paths that often. So I haven't really experienced nothing with people my age or any age, at least right now.
I agree with that too. Like I don't really I guess I feel more comfortable around people just because I know that's me being black is not an issue. That's not a problem I have to worry about.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for me as a mother, and especially a mother coming from Africa, where that, like I said before, that was the least of my problems. Or I was not exposed to that. I didn't know that, and we didn't have a lot of white people around. But at the same time, like where I grew up, we had a lot of people from different parts of the world. We had missionaries in America. We have the school that my dad had as a principal. We had Indians that teach, and that really was not a problem. Never did I hear about it. We interacted with the white kids, the kids from America. So I actually had to learn together with my son, and with the experiences that I saw, the incidents that I saw on TV, I started thinking myself and telling myself, this is something I have to talk to my son about. And I, like and I talk about it all the time, because every time he steps out of the house, it's like I'm listening to the news, worrying that he's in a safe place. Like Pastor once said, we try to teach kids how to carry themselves, where to be, what places they shouldn't find themselves, in what situations we try to teach these things to them, like be your better self, but be your better self, be the best of who you are, because this is what they're going to portray you as everywhere you go. And I mean, you have to be the best you are. And so for me as a mother, I've always tried to instill that in my kids, especially him, being a Black and me seeing everything happening around. I constantly have to be on him. Sometimes it's annoying to him, you know, because I'm always talking to him, I'm always telling him things where to be. And, you know, just like that, you need to be aware of situations in which you find yourself. You can't just be anything, you can't just say anything. Be careful as how you do things and what you do. So these are the things I teach him.
And that's the part that sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes he tells me, why can't I just be myself? But you're yourself. You just need to be the best.
Just be your cautious self, right?
Yeah.
It's hard. Well, I'm going to close the conversation now, but Dowda and Kiwan and Sam, thank you for being a part of our conversation. We may have to grab you later at another point. So Kiwan, let's see. Well, I guess we'll have to zoom you in from Georgia Southern.
Right.
So, but thank you so much for being a part of this, because, you know, I call this a conversation, but I find myself that I'm trying to more listen than talk. So thank you.
We appreciate that. We appreciate
Thank you for having us. I appreciate it.
Okay. Well.